This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. First of all, welcome. And in just a few minutes, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you, Earl, for having me today. My name is Natalie Boyum, and I'm the president and founder of the Defeating Epilepsy Foundation. We're a 501c3 here in Southern California, and our mission is to provide the advocacy and educational services needed to the epilepsy community in our society.
A much needed advocacy. So tell me, what's the best thing about being the CEO of your organization?
Well, what I really love is the fact that I can contribute back to my community. I've been battling epilepsy for 40 years and I've had my seizures controlled for 16. So this is my way of giving back to the community for those who are less fortunate. And I find it's really important to be able to show myself as, a leader because there's so many people with epilepsy who have a hard time getting employment. And I want employers to see they should not fear hiring someone with epilepsy, that people with
Mhm.
epilepsy can have the same potential and can deliver the same opportunities to a business as just about anybody else.
Indeed, indeed. Well done. So, throughout your career, I know for myself, I've heard from many CEOs that leading a team of people and being able to see the road ahead, the various shifts and can be a challenge. What are your thoughts?
I think that's very true. I have found in launching my own organization, the two important things have been strategic planning and also teamwork. I find with my staff is an all volunteer staff because we're so new. So I find that I'm taking advantage of having the interns, not just for them to work for us and gain experience and knowledge, but I can't tell you how many of them I've actually learned from, especially with
Yeah,
things like social media marketing and other skills to communicate not just with my generation, but what do other generations expect from an organization like ours? And when it
indeed.
comes to strategic planning, I've just found over the years, even before I launched, too many people react in the here and now, which for some
Mhm.
things it's not bad. But when you're having a business, you have to remember a decision you make now, it may affect you next year, 5 years,
Mhm.
10 years
Mhm.
down the line, and realize that as you go down that line, you're probably going to hit a bump at some point. Then
Mhm.
you have to be ready to step out of your comfort zone and be able to make changes. And I find this when most people freeze. When they have to make a change, that's when things start to go downhill. So, what I do for myself is I try to keep myself, at least to a degree, out of my comfort zone because it challenges
Mhm.
me to critically think, to problem solve, and realize, not everything can fall into place at the time I want it to or how I want it to.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was quite a bit of wisdom contained in that answer. So much so, I think you actually answered my next question. But if there's anything you want to add to it, you may do so. And that is, throughout your experience, what piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
Well, I would say when it comes to teamwork, make sure you have a positive climate for your workers and have a healthy culture within your executives, your board, because that comes down and it can make such an impact on your workers. The one thing I found is when leaders start to micromanage their teams and not give them trust or give them a voice, that's when it goes from a career that they want to enjoy and do things to, okay, it's just a paycheck. The passion, the desire just falls out of it. And not only does it hurt that person who can contribute so much, but it really hurts the company. I acknowledge that I'm a leader, but at the same time, when I'm working on a project, I want my team I encourage them. Tell me what you think. If you have any questions, ask. There's no bad question. And I found really working to keep that line of communication open and not act like I'm above a person, but we're all having to work together to make a difference. That's what really helps my interns to feel relaxed and confident and think of me and not just a leader, but a mentor who's there to help them grow. And I look at my interns as people, just because I'm college educated doesn't mean I can't learn something new from people who are bringing a total different perspective of something in. So I take advantage of that to try to learn from others.
Very good. Reach for the sky, but keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. Very
Exactly.
good. Well, tell me, throughout your experience, what other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to give a shout out to and should be on my podcast?
Well, one that I work with who is really wonderful, his name is Dr. Prince Kasadi, and he has a nonprofit organization in the Democratic Republic of Congo called ASLIC. And what it is he helps the communities to be able to get resources to the families who are battling epilepsy, because despite the levels of stigma we have here in America, it's much higher in the DRC. People cannot go to school, they're not allowed to work, they're not allowed to marry, and they become totally dependent on the family. So him and I are we're partnering with the University of New Mexico through a program called Project Echo. And our goal is to him to be able to go out and train the primary doctors and nurses in the rural areas about epilepsy so that we can improve patient care, improve education, and just letting the community know not to fear it, thinking it's contagious or people are possessed, so that we can advocate for these people and in time be able to go to the Minister of Health and say, look at the effort we're making to help these people. Now we're in the 21st century. Why should someone be denied education or employment opportunity because they have to battle a neurological disorder? So he really is someone who I feel has just gone so up and beyond with his commitment to his people, because there's 600,000 people with epilepsy there and only 8 neurologists, and he wants to do everything he can to change the environment for the better for not just his patients but people throughout the nation. So I think
Very
he would
good.
be somebody very inspiring to talk to.
Very good. Thank you. We received that. Now for the final question. How do you celebrate a win?
Well, I find that if it's for a team effort, if it's something I've achieved through my team, I like to involve everybody in it, because I want them to know, I didn't do this by myself. I mean, when I launched this year, the first couple months I worked on my own and realized really quickly I was not going to make it until I was willing to acknowledge I couldn't do it myself.
Mm,
And because I brought on my team, we've just moved it miles I didn't think we were going to at this point. So I
mm,
celebrate with them along the way. And when it comes to myself, I will I will acknowledge if I achieve something. I give myself that pat on the back, that celebration, but I don't stop there. I achieve something, that's great. Now, what can I
excellent.
challenge myself with next? And I find always challenging myself to grow and to improve on things, I find it really exciting.
Very good. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here today. Very quickly, tell me, how can people find you?
You can go to our website at www.defeatingepilepsy.org to learn about our work. We do work here throughout California, helping people get the resources they need. We offer a scholarship for students who have epilepsy, and we do humanitarian work in Africa. We also have our social media pages on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, our YouTube channel, and Instagram. So we would
All
appreciate
right.
if everyone would follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that they can help make a difference in defeating epilepsy.
This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Side Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for the Gray Owl Company. Natalie, thank you so very much for the good work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Earl, for having me today.